All right, this week we're joined on the DSP by my brother Zeek Powers. Bro, how are you out there in Brisbane?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. How are you? Over in Perth, bro. We're on either side of the country.
Yeah, you and me have been the best places in Australia for COVID-19. You know, we've gotten pretty lucky over the last year.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate, man, like to have, very minimum kind of cases and uh, governments that are trying to protect it and keep it that way. But prayers
Yeah.
up to everyone else who's still going through it.
Dope to kind of chat with you about it, because a lot of the Aussie artists that I've been speaking to, obviously from Melbourne and Sydney, you know, they went through a completely different style of lockdown and isolation than we went through. You know, for you,
Right.
what was it like? Because, you know, we had a quick lockdown and then it was kind of pretty good and open. How were you affected, you know, as a musician that really, I guess, you know, drives from that interaction with their listeners and your fans?
It still affected us in a very big way. I think just the very fact that the country as a whole just was smashed with something so major. When it was like March last year, as soon as it was announced, like literally Queensland just shut down, like, so to speak. I think every gig, everything was that there was nothing there. I lost all my my residencies that I had. We had festivals and tours lined up until like kind of September, October of 2020, and that all just kind of fell through. And yeah, it was 2020 was the year. In hindsight, looking back, it was the year of preparation for us. Like, we didn't have a lot of time to be social. We didn't have a lot of time to go out. So I've spent the last 12 months with my head down and just trying to create new things. I formed a group with two other guys, and we've just been writing and producing for both like ourselves, but also for other artists and other people around as well, which has been really, really productive and helpful just to keep the focus, because no one's playing live shows up until recently. And yeah, man, we had that itch, so we had to scratch it somehow, and that was how we did it. We just wrote.
Talk to me about that collective that you've got moving at the moment and really helping you to stay inspired. Is that something that you've done, along the way in your artist and music journey, worked with other people and collaborated, or is that a change for you?
Yeah, I've definitely loved being able to work collaboratively with other people in the past. I think I've done it. I sat in on like my first kind of songwriting camp. I was part of a songwriting camp back in like 2014. So that was my first experience working with other artists and other producers and stuff. And ever since then, it was just like, it became like something that I just really enjoyed. I love being in rooms with people from different backgrounds and different, genres and whatever, and just seeing what we can come up with. This particular group that we have, we call ourselves a neighborhood social. And basically it started back in like February of last year. So before COVID hit. And it was literally just us. We just wanted to hang out and see what we could come up with. Shouts to the boys, Clay and Zach. But yeah, once the pandemic happened and everything got quarantined and we locked down, that was literally our one kind of source of being able to outlet creatively. And it definitely took on a new kind of shape. And we just decided then and there that like, yo, this is really cool. We just love being able to write and express ourselves, even though we weren't able to be, in the same room, so to speak. And yeah, it really helped, even just mentally, man, just being able to still connect with other musos and artists and be able to just bounce ideas. And it was in those meetings and those sessions that, I got the most inspired and kind of motivated I've been in a few years. So
do you feel like, isolation and the COVID pandemic has, I guess, made it more, not tolerable, but more, the norm to collaborate and to work with other artists that may not be, within the same vicinity of you? You talked about writing camps. I know a lot of artists that are doing writing camps via Zoom and and really
Yeah.
getting into that stuff. Is that something that you've, dabbled in?
Yeah. And it's a different dynamic. I think what the last 12 months for everyone has done is just made us really appreciate how made us appreciate connecting with one another. Because we, a lot of people lost that. We take for granted every day that the moments where we get to actually speak face to face with someone, and you in a writing, creative environment, it's those moments where you see and you vibe off the other person, their energies. You're in the room together, and you're just hanging out and you're making music. It's those moments that we missed, and definitely, man. Like Zoom calls like this, and Insta Live, being able to connect with fans, and technology has definitely been like a massive help, man. It's kind of kept the world spinning, I think.
Talk to me about that virtual space, because looking through your socials and YouTube and Insta and stuff, you really dove real head first into the virtual space over this isolation time. For you, was that a savior?
Yeah, I think the biggest anchor that I had during COVID was definitely my wife. My wife just kept me sane the entire time, and it was always like, I'm thankful that I didn't have to experience like that kind of time of lockdown and isolation by myself. It was, I think, like, just having her there, we were able to just like keep each other mentally like in the same kind of vicinity. When I was kind of going crazy, she was like, "Hey, it's all right, go play some video games or something," and then vice versa.
Nice.
The vodka only had to come out a little bit, so we're grateful for that.
Talk to me about your relationship with your wife, because you're so open about that on your socials, and you look at the Tell Me music video, and there's a big symbolism of your wedding ring, and that seems to play such an important part on I guess who you are as an artist. Is that something that really, inspires you?
Absolutely, man. I think my music, and especially over the last probably 2 years, my music has kind of taken a bit of a turn in regards to just me focusing on like what I'm writing about. It's shifted my focus in regards to what I'm writing about. And Naz, my wife, she's just like the best, man. Like, she's my best friend, and we're literally like, especially in COVID, we were all we could kind of each depend on, and so and Tell Me was written out of that kind of period of isolation and lockdown as well. And yeah, man, like, I'm so proud of my wife. I'm so proud of our marriage, and I'm proud of the person that I'm becoming every day because of my wife, man. Like, and why wouldn't you want to share that? Like, I think that my music, I always want my music to be just in some way a reflection of who I am as an artist. I feel like as an artist, it's my responsibility to reflect the times where we are in history, but also like be true to who I am as a person. And I don't ever want anyone to look at me or hear my music and think like, it feels like a different person to who I see him as online, So, like, it's awesome, man. I'm really grateful that I have someone who I can call my best friend and also be able to incorporate like in my music. She's a very creative person as well. And yeah, it's cool being able to merge those two worlds together.
Well, yeah, you definitely can tell that, you tell this, I can tell the honesty in your lyrics and in the sound and the cadence of your voice. For you, this song, as you said, being very personal and, going through isolation, which has been tough mentally and even physically for a lot of people. What was the moment like when you finished that, you sat down with your wife and listened to it? Like, was that a moment for you guys?
Yeah, it was, for multiple reasons. I think, like, Tell Me kind of talks about a number of different things. And the only kind of moment that I really get personal about anything from you know, regarding my life is when I talk about my grandma. And Naz has been along the journey with me as a person, and she, you know, her family as well. Like we both grew up in really tight family environments. And so, you know, when I lost my grandmother a few years back now, it took a toll on me because of the massive role that she played in my life, you know, and the huge influence she was on me as a person, but also as a musician. She was the one that introduced me to the guitar and, you know, all the rest of it. And so being able to sit back and then share that moment with Naz, this is the song that I wrote, you know, and then also when, you know, the music video came out and we actually like got to watch the whole piece together, that was a special moment, man. I got to share it with my granddad. Like that was dope. Like we traveled up to like North Queensland and I sat down and like played it for him, and yeah, it was a significant moment. I'll never forget that, man. Yeah.
You mentioned, you know, on Facebook and probably on Instagram as well, you know, that 2021 was going to be your time to really step out of your comfort zone. Where is your comfort zone? Because what you're talking about right now is, you know, a zone that most people would feel like is out of their comfort zone. What is that for you, trying to step out of it?
Yeah, my comfort zone is definitely being very reserved with what I share with the world, with what I like share of my personal life and my personal journey. I grew up very, very quiet. I was like a quiet kid, and being a musician, there's always that kind of, I think it's self-inflicted. It was for me anyway. It was that pressure of wanting to appear a certain way to the public, to your fans and stuff, and never give off too much of yourself. You don't want to, you know, don't give them too much. So the mystery's gone and you're not cool anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those weird things that we as, I guess, like this kind of generation, this technological generation has, you know, social media does it. It's that pressure all the time of like, I need to appear this way so that you think this of me, and I need to please this group of people and all the rest of it. And that's my comfort zone, bro. Like that's where I resided for a long time in my life. It was just trying to please others and not being true to who I was in regards to my expression of music and my songwriting as well. And yeah, man, it's been an ongoing thing, but it's just been, like I said before, I believe it's an artist's responsibility to reflect the times where we are, because for a lot of people, we're the only voice that, you know, others have when they're going through, you know, tough stuff in their life. And I want to be that voice for someone, you know, like, and if it means that I got to be honest with myself and I got to be honest and like unapologetic about what I say sometimes, then so be it. It's all good, you know.
And we appreciate that as, you know, the consumers of your art and of your product, and I think that's what, you know, does make you stand out. And you talked about, you know, I guess 2021 being your chapter 1, and you know, and what has been previewed as I guess the, you know, what's it at the beginning of a book where it says something before you get to the chapter 1? It's not a prequel. It's like
forward or pre-word or something. Forward.
You know what I'm talking about. I guess, you know, what does your chapter 1 look like?
I think my chapter 1 looks like just inspiring people to continue to be honest with themselves. And I think what Tell Me was kind of like Tell Me as in the song is it is, in a way, it's the answer to that question. Like Tell Me was me wanting to express my need to just let it out to someone, you know, and want that person to not be judgmental, not be, you know, any sort of way, but just open to it, open to the conversation. And I guess my chapter 1 is I just want to see people who listen to my music to feel inspired, man. Like, I want them to feel like, if there's no one else out there who is like on their side, like, I'll be on your side. It's all good. But like, more than that, I just want them to feel like they can just be honest with like themselves and not be afraid to actually like open up if there's something going on like with in their lives, like reach out, talk to someone, like do something. Don't stay isolated because like, yo, we've had enough of that in the last 12 months, you know. Connect, man. It's important.
You know, I guess talking about Tell Me and the inspo, but like also the cadence and the versatility that you show on this track. I love, you know, the second verse, you slow it down, you rap on there, and, you know, you get that, you know, 21 Pilots LF sound. Has that always been, you know, something in your repertoire? You worked on that, you know, over the last few years?
Yeah, man. I'm just stoked that you said 21 Pilots, man. So thank you for that.
Nah, 100%. That's literally as soon as where I heard it, I was like, oh, this is where you're at with it. And it's one of those styles and cadences that is so honest, and it makes you really like stop and listen, and it's rawness. And that's what I got from it, from you.
Thank you, bro. Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, like, so guys like Tyler from 21 Pilots, guys like John Bellion, oh man, like there's like Eminem, like I don't know, man. Like I just grew up listening to. I was just immersed in hip hop and R&B, and like it just rubs off. Like I think it was something that I always wanted to do. I think the person that inspired me to do it the most was definitely like, because I started out doing acoustic stuff. Like it was always acoustic, just me playing in a guitar, and so it was hard to like get myself out of that pigeonhole, you know, in a way. But when back like, you know, 10 years ago, when I heard Ed Sheeran start coming out doing like acoustic stuff, and he's rapping on his stuff, he's laying loops, and he's like, doing all this, you know, like, you need me, man, I don't need you, like all that stuff, like, oh man, met this girl late last year, like doing Don't, like all of these songs, and those are the songs and the albums that I would like, that you wait for, like all the love songs and stuff are like awesome, but then when he comes out with this like dun, 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 it's like, oh yo, it's about to go down, like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like
he did collaborations number 5, and then he did collaborations number 8, I think it was. Was it 8?
Yeah.
Put out? And both of those, like his versatility and him, you know, freaking writing those beats and getting in pocket, it just showed you can be both. You can do what people say is not, you know, what you're known for.
Yeah, and I think like even looking back on like the trends of the music industry over the last decade, it's been the like kind of vice versa for the hip hop like world as well. You've seen that genre incorporate more melody. Like, since when did rap have melody? You know, back in the day, it was literally like, yo, you jump on a beat, say what you want to say, and then the next dude, it's like, it's a, you know, jump on the cypher, like the next guy jumps on, the next guy jumps on. It is what it is, you know, like who's got the best bars, and then all of a sudden you've got guys rocking up, like singing on stuff, and now we've got people like Anderson .Paak who are like,
come on, the GOAT, bro. I love AP.
Yep, man, like, you know, so like you've got all of these people, and I just love that we're at the point where there's that freedom to be able to do that type of stuff, you know? And so I'm all for it, man. So like I'm really, really, really excited that I'm at the place where I'm able to begin to like, I guess, showcase that side of my music as well.
Yeah.
And show people that, you know, like, I got something to say. I just wanna say it the way that I hear it in my head, you know, like, and this is how I hear it in my head. So
yeah. Well, you know, talking about freedom, I guess, you know, 2021 musically, you know, we got Tell Me back in December of 2020. What's you know, what's the run into 2021 looking like musically for you?
Yeah, Tell Me was the the introduction to the world. Like it was me kind of, it's me saying, this is stylistically, sonically, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And we've got like a bunch of stuff lined up for the rest of the year. I'm so excited to give it out when it's ready. But yeah, like the rest of the stuff that's coming is literally just, it's just like, if tell me was like the beginning of the sentence, there's a comma, and then the rest of the songs are just going to continue like emphasizing what the statement is. And yeah, it's showing off like a lot more of what we were able to do, and what we came up with, man. Like isolation gave us a lot of time to think and just imagine and do things that we would have never thought to do, creatively. And yeah, I'm just stoked, man. I'm just so keen to get this stuff out. So keen, bro.
Man, well, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate, the values and the inspiration that comes with what you're doing. And I know it's hard sometimes to be that honest and step outside of the comfort zone that you've grown up in and you become so acclimatized to. But mate, you got a home on the DSP, and this track "Tell Me" is a smash, and I'm excited to see what you do, moving forward, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, and I just want to just encourage whoever else is listening to this, man. Like, if you're at a point where you you're afraid to try and do something different or new, or you feel like you don't have a voice, I just want to fist bump you virtually. Like, you can do it. Like, go out and do it. So freaking do
it. Zeek Powers, my brother. Appreciate you checking in on the DSP, and go grab this song. Tell Me. It's out everywhere, and we're going to go crazy on the DSP, until we get that next one from you, whenever that is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's coming. It's coming, yo!